walk us. Wait a second. Just walk us through the story and get to the part where you experienced racism.
Okay, so I went to a school in a predominantly white area. I made friends. I was new. I was a military brat. Both my mom and my father were in the military, so we moved around a lot. And so I ended up at a new school, made some new friends, and they didn't discover that I wasn't 100% white.
I'm sorry,
I never brought
real
up a
quick,
conversation.
if you don't mind disclosing which base this was.
Oh yeah, this was Whiteman in southwest Missouri.
Interesting. White.
Air Force Base.
Gotcha.
Name Whiteman. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's the Air Force Base where they launch all the stealth fighters out of. But
it's in Missouri. I know you're talking about, yeah.
So, I mean, at this time, I was around 9 years old, and the other kids around me were between the ages of my age and about 15 or 16. And they started saying that, they were calling my mom derogatory Asian epithets that I didn't agree with when they discovered that. And I told them that they need to stop talking and just shut up, kid stuff. My dad can beat up your dad and all this stuff. And they said, well, my dad is white and he doesn't lose to, Asians. And I said, your dad is HICK. And that's pretty much when I woke up in a hospital.
I mean, I'm not putting that past Southwest Missouri, and actually understanding after World War II and the Pearl Harbor.
Fucking river.
But wait, I'm not putting that past like Pearl Harbor and what white America did to Asian people. Like I'm not going to even argue that that's probably wasn't. Yeah.
I would say that this is white on white crime because no, I'm not even trying to be funny. I think this is something.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I say this because I think that, and I think I've had this conversation with Bill as well. When we think of whiteness in the hierarchy, we tend to just view the hierarchy as one individual or a specific look for the group of white tea people. And I think that and I think that maybe more white tea people should have these deconstruction conversations within themselves to showcase that self-hatred stems from the idea that you are not white enough. And that white enoughness comes from the racism, which is the fact that your mother is not considered a whitey person. She's an Asian woman. And that othering is basically shunning you out of this predominantly white area. And I think that this happens often with predominantly white settings, because since there isn't anybody to oppress, you have to assert your racism like this, because that's the only thing that's left. Does that make sense?
It does, but respectfully, I just disagree.
Okay, so I just want to be clear before I mute that your racism wasn't you experiencing racism. It was the fact that your mother was not whitey. She was an Asian woman, and your proximity to your mother is what got your ass beat. And for the record, it was by white children, correct?
He's not
white. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Predominantly white community. I was the closest thing to a colored person that neighborhood probably seen in a long time.
Hold on.
Colored person is crazy.
Yeah, let's not do those words. And I want to say something real quick.
Thank you.
Mia Moore, I'm not being disrespectful. My thing wasn't muted, but I'm actually looking at something. It had nothing to do with this. I would not laugh at somebody getting stomped out because of the color of their skin. I'm a whole black woman who has to deal with people like that. So please don't call me and not being respectful, because I would never make fun of him while he's dealing with his own stuff. Let's not do that, okay? And also...
Thank you, Mama. Sorry.
No, you're okay. We have to... DJ... That word is very harmful. I don't really care if you say it to yourself, but it's very harmful. We have dealt with a multitude of decades and centuries of being called that out of disrespect, because we are a human being.
And that's why I won't call you it. That's why I was referring to myself. But I won't use it again if it's offending. I'm not trying to offend again. That's not my purpose or my plan or my intention at all.
No problem. Thank you.
I'm so confused. Did you call yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, I said I am the closest thing they have seen to a. Well, I'm not going to say it again, but I'm the closest thing that neighborhood's seen to anybody that wasn't white in a long time.
But you. Okay, I'm so confused.
You motherfucker.
So
Go ahead.
you just admitted that you present as a white person.
I admitted it earlier when I showed you that I was white passing. I haven't denied any of this. Like I said,
so
I'm not denying that I appear white.
Yeah, so white passing is an action. It means that you're trying to be white or you're trying to fit into whiteness. If we're like using the right terms, it would be white presenting. But like,
okay.
I don't see. I hate saying.
I don't understand that semantic.
I don't see.
I've never went out of my way to like present anything other than.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
am.
But what I'm saying is passing is an action. Presenting is just, it happens. Like you present as yourself. Your physical form is just, it is what it is. And you are a white person. Passing is an action. It means that you are trying to do something. You're trying to fit into whiteness. That's why we use those two different terms to distinguish. And like, you present as a white person. The only reason you got any flack from those people, and I realize flack is an understatement. The only reason why they beat you up is because they found out that your mom is Asian, right? Like looking at you, they wouldn't have been able to tell unless you said something to them.
Oh yeah, they absolutely had no idea.
Yeah,
and that's why I was able to. What I thought was make friends.
So the racism in this case was directed towards your mom, right? Like they had a problem with your mom's race, the way that she phenotypically presented, and because you are her son, they projected this dislike of her race onto you, right? Like because they weren't beating you up because you look Asian.
No, they were just making a lot of derogatory remarks about the woman I came from.
Can I ask a quick question? It's sort of an analogy. So in the Jim Crow era, right, there was this little girl that they did not want to go to a school. I can't remember. It was Ruby, right? Ruby Bridges, I believe was the name.
Yes.
So let's just theoretically say that there was a white student who was like, hey, like, I don't want you guys beating up on this black woman, right? I think that that's absolutely absurd. She should be able to come to the school with all of us and we can all be happy. And all of her